Okay, we're here. This is Life Quest of Arkansas, and we have a guest speaker with us today, Spencer Jansen. And I'm going to let him share more about his background. But he has been with the Arkansas Art Center since 2014 and has seen many, many changes as director of member and guest experiences. But the biggest change is probably coming. And I think they've had a big announcement that has been all over the news, and we're going to hear what that is because it's very exciting. So, Spencer, tell us more.
Yeah, well, welcome and thanks for having me today during lunch. I'm glad everybody's able to join. You might have seen the huge announcement that came Monday, and if you can see my screen, it's in this bottom right-hand corner. We are now the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. So we've been the Arkansas Art Center for about 50 plus years, but we're going actually back to our roots. I'll show you in a second where that name is coming from, but it's harkening back to the old 1937 facade for the building. We've been undergoing this huge building transformation project for about 4 years now when it originally started. So yesterday was another of those huge milestones in this campaign for our cultural future in Arkansas. Like you mentioned, I've been with I was about to say Arkansas Art Center. I got to change that one real quick. I've been with the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts since 2014, but really I've been attending programs, classes, performances since I was a little kid. My mom and dad would take me to the Children's Theater to see plays along with my school. I took classes when I was a child, and it really fostered my love for the arts, where I got an arts degree out of Lyon College some years ago. And I've been fortunate enough to get a job with the museum for the last 7 years. So that's where I am with this. And I'm excited to kind of show you what's happening with the Museum of Fine Arts. And can y'all all see the slideshow? Is that up and running? I'm going to take that as a yes. So as you see, this beautiful new opening it's facing 9th Street. So 9th is behind me, behind you in this slide. You're looking south towards the opening, the renewed entrance to the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. This big thing you see right here up here is what we call the cultural living room. We're going to go inside that a little bit later on into this presentation. But this nice driveway is going to be a one-way towards this museum. This is the MacArthur Military Museum. And we'll have parking out here, and everybody's going to come in and enter into the museum this way. There is an entrance over here, just to let you know, because this is an open courtyard for those rainy days that we might have occasionally, that you can come in here, and so you're not getting rained on. But once you park, you'll walk in through this north entrance into this beautiful courtyard. So I mentioned our name change into the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. This old facade is from 1937, from when the original Museum of Fine Arts was built in MacArthur Park, and it might even been City Park back then. But part of the name change is bringing this history back to the forefront. So this is one of our main entrances. People will come into this courtyard, walk by this statue. It's a Henry Moore. It's standing figure knife edge. Currently, it is, I believe, on Capitol Avenue, and it will be relocated to this entry point. So we're looking forward to having this back in as part of the entrance to the Museum of Fine Arts. So as you walk through and you come into this grand courtyard, you'll enter into here. So I was here last Friday. I walked through the job site, and this is really starting to take shape. And I'll allude to parts of this throughout the presentation on where it is in the construction phase right now. But the cursor is pointing towards the elevators and the grand staircase. So all the exhibition space is up here. We'll get to that in a minute. But you'll come in, you'll check in, you'll get your tickets for the exhibitions, or you can proceed throughout the building. But this is one of our main entrances, and this beautiful dark walnut will be all over the place in this area. And you'll see these natural woods and bright, airy, just environment throughout the building as we go. One thing I forgot to mention, that first slide, you notice the exterior of the building is a great white, bright brick. Original designs, you'll see some of those in the slideshow, had a gray exterior, and that was changed probably 6 to 8 months ago, and it's really just given a breath of fresh air to the original design. But behind where we're viewing from is admin offices. So there's really not much that you'll be coming towards that way for. There's a coat check around the corner and admin, but this is the north entrance, the 1937 lobby. And then on the complete opposite side of the building, this is closer to the south entrance. We'll get a better view of it, but we call this the Blossom area. So, and we refer to this as this lobby area as the Blossom, and it's really harkening to the roof line up here as a Blossom. And we'll get an aerial view of that shortly to show you the studio gang, Jeannie Gang's intention behind that Blossom when she first sketched out the design for this building on a napkin on a visit here. But as you'll see, you'll come in down here through the south entrance into the Blossom. Over here to the left is the museum store. We have a desk with ticket kiosk, and we'll have concessions here when we have performances in the theater. And then the lecture hall is over here. This grand staircase, I just walked on it Friday. It is coming together, and it's probably like standing right here is one of my favorite points looking towards where we are today. It's so open. It's almost cathedral-like on how high these ceilings are, and it's really awe-inspiring. The thing I'm going to like about it is standing in this spot is going to be a complete different experience than standing in this spot. This is going to be loud, lively. You're going to see kids running around. Our classes are over here. Performances over here. The restaurant is behind us. It's going to be night and day on the experience you have coming into these two locations. But if you look straight through where my cursor is at the top of this landing, all the way through is back to here. So in the old building, things were kind of closed off, but we're providing really nice wayfinding throughout this entire building. So it's very easy to figure out where you're going from point A to point B. And one of my favorite little details in this entire building is this flooring. You'll see this polished concrete, and then the detail of this is actually echoing the ribbing of this roof line, and that is throughout the building. So it's one of those details that you'll see again when we get to a detail, the cultural living room. But I think it's one of those things that just make the floor pop and provides this continuity throughout the building that you'll see. You'll see it with these curved angles in the hallways and in the lines throughout the building in the roof line. So the art school and gallery is right over here is where the entrance is. So we'll enter in here. There will be gallery space. We'll have exhibitions from probably local artists, from traveling artists, from a myriad of people in this space. So it's nice to be able to have exhibition space in other places throughout the building. But this is also where all the schooling is. And we, if you didn't know, we offer classes for youth and adults. I think the oldest student we've had is, I think, 101, and our youngest is probably 2 or 3. So we offer a wide range of classes for everybody. Currently, those are offered online, and we are doing those right now. We just put out a new slate for this month, and this is where all those will be offered. We offer education in fiber arts and drawing, painting in any format you can think of, acrylic, oil, watercoloring. We also offer ceramics, which is our largest classrooms. Most people take ceramics with us. And we also offer woodworking. And that's just a small smattering of the examples of education we provide in the art school. So I encourage people to start looking into that as we get going into this building. It's going to be fantastic. I want to say that we have so many people that have been doing this for such a long time. They create these great communities that I'll stop by in the classes, and they're having coffee and donuts before it gets started, because that's their group now. They come in, they take a pottery class with their friends that they've been doing this with 15, 20 years, and it's a beautiful community to be a part of. So across the hall from the art school is a lecture hall and the performance space. So this is a pretty boring slide, so I'm going to just kind of pass on through this one real quick. But as you see, we're revamping our lecture hall and the performance area, the theater. So all of those are getting complete facelifts. They'll be completely activated in ways that we've never done before. We're going to have more concerts, more just a wider range of activities and performances in these two spaces than we've had in the past. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that come to life. So we're going to fly across the building and upstairs into the cultural living room. So I'm trying to monitor the time and be mindful of that, so I'm flying through this pretty quickly. But at the first slide, I showed you that exterior view and said upstairs is the culture living room. So we're up there now. If you see into this, outside this glass, you're looking, that's the fire station on 9th Street. St. Edward's is right here to give you a little point of understanding where we are. This is all glassed in. All of this is beautiful German glass. It is exquisite. This glass over here in the front is not up yet, but all of this is. It looks into the courtyard where that Henry Moore figure was, to give you an idea again of where we are. And remember how I mentioned those beautiful details throughout the building, connecting areas. Look again at the floor and then the roof line up here. Just the thing that tells me is if we're paying attention to something like the roof line echoing through the floor, all details are being considered throughout this building. There are points throughout the ceiling where we'll be able to hang artwork and installations. There's nothing in this image right now, but we have the potential to do that in the future, and you'll see some of that throughout the building. But this space up here is one of the most versatile places in this entire building, and I think will set us apart from any other organization or building in our state. Up here, you'll be able to decompress after an exhibition. Exhibitions will be right behind us. I'll show you that in a second. But we'll have a bar and cafe thing set up over in this corner. We'll be able to move other furniture in. This is a rentable space, but it can be so much. People can just relax. You can go to Starbucks or you can come see us. The advantage we have is we have all of this space. We'll have extremely fast Wi-Fi. We want you to come hang out and be part of us. We have galleries. We have world-class artists right behind you. I love Starbucks, but they don't have that. So I look forward to seeing more and more people just utilize this space to hang out, have a meeting, just read a book. It's going to be a really great, fun, engaging area of the building. So right behind that is where we're standing now. So we were standing right about here looking into all that. So again, glass into the courtyard over here. And then to the left is the gallery spaces. And then behind us right now is the grand staircase I was mentioning. So we'll enter into the galleries. We'll have the permanent collection on the right-hand side and then traveling exhibitions on the left-hand side. This is all starting to take shape. The flooring's not laid yet, but again, it's going to be this beautiful wood. This cut through is fantastic. You enter into this gallery space, you can immediately see outside into this huge window that we're right now calling the art perch. I'll show you a detail of that in a second. State-of-the-art lighting all throughout these new gallery spaces. We'll have, I think, about 20,000 square foot of gallery space, which is a 15% increase. But I will tell you, it feels like 25 to 50% of an increase because of the thoughtful use of space. There's so much intentionality to how this building is constructed that the galleries make sense in a way they haven't in the past. It's open. You feel more in a gallery setting than we had in the older building. Those gallery spaces were kind of disconnected in some areas, and you had to walk through the building to get to point A to point B to another gallery. This is contained in one area, and it is just beautiful, and I cannot wait to see it lined in all of this beautiful artwork. So I mentioned the art perch, or this window out looking into 9th Street. That's what this is. There's seating all along this. Again, people, when you come in to see an exhibition, sometimes you just need to sit, relax, meditate, and think about what you just saw. And that is another spot where you can do this here. All of this will be activated with art. And we have so many more galleries. I'm not going to show you all those because it gets a little repetitive and we don't have art on the wall, so you won't see anything new. But there's a multimedia space. There is just areas throughout the whole galleries that there's art in every corner. And I'll look forward to sharing that with y'all in 2022 when we open. So downstairs is where our collections research room is, our library, which is part of the CALS library. It's a research library, so you can't check books out, but you can come and utilize the space and read from the volumes we have. And this is also our boardroom. So this is downstairs in a place that we haven't even gotten to yet on the other slides, but it is a place that people can come and read and research and will be utilized more than it has in the past. Because I don't think people knew that we had such a robust library service in the old building that we do, and we still actually have those books available in our current location in Riverdale, which is kind of quasi closed to the public right now. We, as a staff, just started going back yesterday to that building. So after the collections research, this is one of my favorite spots. I was a bartender for about 7 years before I started working at the Art Center. I was at some other nonprofits before then, but I worked at the Capitol Bar and Grill for 7 years behind their bar and ran that program. So I'm very familiar with this space right here. I can shake a mean martini and would be happy to serve you at some point. But this is going to be incredible. There is no other restaurant in the city that I can think of that has this type of view into MacArthur Park. These giant, beautiful open glass windows. It is going to be spectacular. There will be a little lounge area where we're kind of standing in this view right now into the restaurant. Over to the left, this is a private dining area that can seat 40. Again, it's something that people can rent out, have private gatherings, do some board meetings if they need, whatever they want. And then we actually have another space that connects through here all the way over here. It's called the Glass Box that can seat up to 120 people. That is another space. And it is 2 glass walls that look out into the park as well. So I really look forward to utilizing this space as well. This is part of my umbrella now, the programmatic aspects of the restaurant. I think when they heard I was a bartender, they kind of tapped me for this. So I'm really looking forward to getting this place up and running. So we were standing right about here inside. So this is an outdoor view of the south entrance. So in the very beginning, we went in the north entrance. We're at the back of the building. We have stood about right here, past the vestibule at one point, looking into the Blossom. We stood over here at one slide, and now we have this beautiful view of this entrance. This is the one I was telling you earlier is going to be just active and loud and fun and kids everywhere and people coming in with their clay and paint spattered clothes to come to create in our school over here. You'll see this landscaping. I'll show you a better view of the landscaping as well. But I really look forward to utilizing this space. And this roof line, this is a great shot of the dramatic roof line that we're calling the Blossom. These angles are coming in. It's echoed in our new logo. You might see it in between the A and the M. That's what that line is representing, is this beautiful roof line. So this is the outdoor dining with the restaurant. And again, it looks out into MacArthur Park. You have the law school off screen over here. The pond is over here. You can see that. The old footprint of the building, we're extending way out into the old parking lot. So you get much more into the park than we ever have before. And I think that is going to be one of the biggest assets of this building. Is in the past, the Art Center felt like it was its separate entity. This new building and our new identity will really embrace MacArthur Park. We are going to be working greatly in partnership with the city, with doing programs in the park, with the military museum, and also the law school. I think you'll see how it is intertwined, all of the different places in MacArthur Park, to become a wonderful unified destination as it used to be in the past. And then here is an aerial view. I think you can tell this is a much older rendering of the building. So the last slide, we were about here, but this gives you a good view of this Blossom. So Jeannie Gang is our architect from Studio Gang. She's a MacArthur Fellow. She was Architect of the Year, I think, in 2019, maybe 2017. I don't remember. But right around the time we hired her, she just got that award. And she drew on a napkin this beautiful Blossom that was the inspiration for this building, because she really thought that, and correctly so, being one who worked there for years, we needed a unifying aspect to this building to connect all of the different areas of the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts into one cohesive unit instead of having it disjointed as it was in the past. But again, here is looking north. Here's that circle drive that we looked at the very beginning, the cultural living room, gallery spaces over here. The Wingate Foundation Art School is here. Theater space is here. Admin is here. And my office is right here. And then the restaurant, and then into the Blossom and store. This is the last slide of this. Okay. And this, I think, shows kind of what I was talking about and how we're going to activate the park more so. There is going to be 10.6 acres of landscaping coming in that will really unify the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts into MacArthur Park and beyond. We do hope to activate it in all these areas. We're calling this the Art Lawn. There will be probably concerts outside. We're looking at doing games, just really moving beyond the building into the park and making it an extension of what we are and what we offer. There is also another art lawn over here off the gallery. I'm sorry, off the art school space. That is something that can be utilized as well. So as you see in the bottom, sorry, I think it went a little, there it is. So we will be opening this building in 2022. So we have about a year or so of construction. We'll move in at some point, start working everything out, and we look forward to opening our doors in the near future. But I'm going to take this slide down and
I took it down, Spencer, because I knew you were wrapping up, and we're great with time, so don't feel too rushed. I know you covered a lot of ground quickly. I love that the museum just made the announcement to the public on Monday, and then you were able to join us and give us so much detail so quickly. How exciting and how great for everyone to see.
It was great.
We do have a couple of. Go ahead.
It was great unintended timing. I mean, I know.
It's like we planned it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a couple of questions that some of our members have asked on Facebook. Leon asks, he wants to know about the mission statement and if it's changed from the old one, and how people who are interested in folk art, how does that fit in with the new mission?
Sure. So currently, there is not a new mission statement per se. I don't know if that is on the radar, but we have done a lot of internal looking and met as a staff and identified a lot of key areas that we want to be very intentional about. And we felt that maybe not rewriting the mission, because the current mission statement is a very broad, encompassing mission statement that focuses on visual and performing arts for the community of all people of all backgrounds. And that really is at the heart of what we want to do. And I think that kind of will kind of spearhead into this, the folk art question. So at the base, our mission statement is currently what it is. Will there be a new one in the future? I don't know. That one's above my pay grade. So I know that the idea might have been tossed around, but the current one is what we're running with.
Okay. So folk art still fits in with fine art, in other words.
Yeah. Art is a very broad term. So we are definitely Museum of Fine Arts, and folk art. It will definitely be in part of what we have. Our collection strengths are works on paper and contemporary craft. And contemporary craft is a very wide range. It can mean we have a huge teapot collection, a basket collection, furniture, ceramics, things like that. And then we also have the Delta exhibition, which is an annual juried exhibition that focuses on artists that were born in or live in Arkansas in the, I think, six contiguous states. Right. So there's some folk art that gets into that, but we have an international collection as well. Our neighbors up north at Crystal Bridges, their collection is only American art, and they have an excellent collection of that. But we have an international collection that is focused on those other areas, which I say that they are opening an exhibition maybe next week. It's Crafting in America. And some of our work from our collection is up there for that exhibition.
A little bit of a partnership. Speaking of works on paper, will the Paul Signac collection still have a permanent gallery? That was another question that Leon had.
Sure. Leon knows all about us. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that Paul Signac Gallery will have a separate dedicated space. I think it'll be integrated into the permanent collection area more than it has been in the past. We have the largest collection of Paul Signac. For those who don't know, we have the largest collection of Paul Signac's work outside of Paris. And Paul Signac was a contemporary of Georges Seurat, who most people are more familiar with his work. He had the Sunday in Le Grand, that huge, beautiful pointillism painting. So Seurat lived much longer than Signac did, and has a very similar pointillistic style to some of the things that we have in our collection. And it has a very maritime feel to it as well. one thing I like to point out, one of the reasons we had that gallery was because of the generous donation by the Dyke family for the Signac collection and that gallery space. But his work being works on paper, it's very susceptible to light and the elements.
Mm-hmm.
So our works on paper usually go on display for about 6 months and then go in hibernation, if you will, back into the vaults for about 3 years. So there was a constant rotation of that. So that will continue as well.
Okay. Roby Robertson asks about the Children's Theater, because that was such a vibrant part of what we know about the Arkansas Arts Center. How will that feature in the new design?
Yeah, so it's definitely part of the whole plan. I would say the term performance arts is going to be a broadening theme. We will have productions for kids as the Children's Theater, as we know. The costume shop is there. We have a great series with PBS right now called Blueberries Playhouse or Clubhouse. And they've been working with PBS through these great videos with that. I think they're available on YouTube on our site and then also on PBS. And then they are in the near future going to be doing some performances in parks. And it's going to be from puppetry to live action performances that you'll be able to see now. And then we'll integrate that into what we produce in the future. But it will be, I don't know if it's going to have that name Children's Theater because it's going to be so much more. I mean, we're also working with other local partners to put more into that space. We're looking at what, maybe there's concerts, maybe there's poetry slams. We used to do that in the past. I think you're going to see that theater used in a way that we've never had it before. But we do know, I mean, like I said, I grew up going to those performances in the theater. That is the initial point for so many people to get into our doors, and we see it with kids and their parents and their grandparents. That's definitely not going away because that is at the heart of who we are.
Yeah, both my kids are involved in that too. And so it's some good memories. I'm glad to see that continuing. A couple more questions. I won't keep you here all day, but this is very exciting. Doris Crane would like you to compare the space for classes to the Riverdale site as well as the old building.
Sure.
Classes. Yeah. Tell us about those.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess, comparing apples to a filet mignon.
Okay.
But when I walk through the spaces in MacArthur Park under construction Friday with some staff, it's really coming together. The spaces are bigger. It's going to be brighter. I know there was some areas in the old building that had multi-use spaces to them. Some of the issues we have in Riverdale right now is a little bit of the noise, whether that's from bleeding over. For those who don't know, we took over an old grocery store, an old Walmart on Riverdale, and outfitted it to suit our needs for the time. So the ceilings in the classes only go up so high. So this new building will go all the way up to help reduce that noise. But I think people are going to be blown away what they see. The benefit of building this new building, and we're future-proofing it. So we know that the lighting is state-of-the-art. We're able to utilize the space in a way we haven't before. The functionality of even being able to break up some classrooms into larger sections or smaller sections is going to be nice. I think people will forget pretty quickly what Riverdale was when they come in. Mm-hmm. That's one thing because I know people like Riverdale, its proximity to a lot of homes. It's a much brighter space than the old location was. Mm-hmm. But I think one day in it and they'll be blown away. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Sally would like you to remind us again the projected completion date.
Sure. So it's different between completion and opening. So things will be completed, and then dust has to settle and all that. So opening date right now is 2022. And it is a vague 2022 because if you've ever remodeled a bathroom and they say, oh, it'll be, a month, and then 6 months later, you still can't take a shower. Imagine doing that with a 137,000 square foot building.
Wow.
So,
wow.
We are really projecting for probably a spring to summer opening in 2022. Okay. So that's what it is. And I think we'll have an opening date squared away at some point. It's just too early to tell right now. And during the pandemic, this is one thing that came up a lot. The construction never stopped at the pandemic. They were employing hundreds of local workers during this entire time. They were working around the clock at this job site. It was one of those things that we felt really kept some people employed here in Arkansas, which was really nice that we were able to keep those people employed during that time as well.
Okay. One more question, and I think this is all we have time for today, but Melanie, and I'm going to read her question, it's a little bit long. Melanie Thompson asks, was the new name change driven by internal discussions, like with your board, or did you reach out to the Little Rock or Arkansas community for feedback? How did that new name arrive?
I don't know 100% on that one. I feel like that was driven by just what was needed with this refresh and harkening back to the history of what the Museum of Fine Arts was in its inception and what we're really going to be creating for the community. One of the things I'm working with is a community engagement program with our board, and we have a couple of people on that board that are spearheading that, and I'm the liaison. And we're hoping to get out in the community more to listen and engage more people than we ever have before, because we know that there is plenty of people in Little Rock and beyond, and Benton and Bryant and Conway that are a short drive away from us that will come utilize our space, but we need help getting that voice out. Right. So if there is anybody in that room, that in the chat room, that would like to have us come give this presentation, talk to people, listen, we are more than happy to
be one of your first presentations, right?
You're absolutely, I think, the first presentation.
All right. Well, you can count on LifeQuest members to keep you on your toes. So see, we're just prepping you for what's to come, all the hard questions. All right. Leon has one more question. Since he's so in the know, I'm going to ask it. What is happening with is it the Bombird collection, or is that how you say it? BOEHM?
That one, he knows more about that one than I do.
I don't know. I knew Signac, but I didn't know how to pronounce this one. But okay, so we'll get back to you, Leon.
Leah, can you share with Leon my contact info?
Yes, I absolutely can.
And with anybody else out there, if they have other questions after this, please share my contact info with them, and I can follow up. That one, I don't know well enough off the top of my head.
Put your email.
Sure. Yeah, I have a new
one. At AF Beam is how he pronounced it. AF what? Your email.
So it's a new one. It's sjansen at arkmfa.org. MFA. Okay. arkmfa.org. One thing I also would like to let the LifeQuest members know is, we do have memberships at the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. They start at $60 for an individual for a year, $5. We do $5 a month, but it's a great way to not only support the museum, but stay in the know and keep up to date. We will, we're a little bit more than a year out from opening, but our members are going to be part of that opening process. They get, insider information about everything that's happening on, and you can become a member either by emailing me from there or from our website, which is amfa.org. So arkmfa.org.
Okay. All right. Well, I put your email out there. Folks can also email me or comment on this. This is on our public LifeQuest of Arkansas Facebook page, so it is shareable. Y'all share the word, share the message, because this is going to be tremendously important to our city and our state, and we're really, really happy to be your first presentation as you just broke the news on Monday about the new building. Thank you so much, Spencer, for being with us today. We're excited to see what all takes shape, literally, what takes shape out there.
Yeah, which I do. If you have not driven by MacArthur Park and seen the construction, I encourage everyone to do so. It will make your jaw drop. I mean, we joke they'll be blown off, but
I can't wait, because it was pretty impressive before. So this is going to be really exciting. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today at LifeQuest. This is our guest speaker series every Monday at noon, and next week, Wednesday at noon. Thank you. Next week, we'll have Dr. Lewis Crane, a psychiatrist, who's going to talk to us about how to keep our sanity during a pandemic, among other things. Thank you so much for joining us today.